Hi guys. We're gonna give it another go with Sophie Wood. We were having a little trouble getting her on earlier, just a couple of minutes ago, so just sit tight with us. Sorry about that. Tech is great when it works. So just hold on 1 minute and we'll see what we can work out with Sophie. Because I was saying, I think it would be really wonderful to have her point of view as a show director. I think that would be, it's very different than what we normally have, which is other dealers. And yeah, oh, good. Okay, let me see if I can add Sophie. Hold on 1 second. Perfect. Okay. Sophie, I just invited you, so hopefully it will go through. It should let me know if for some reason. Oh, there we go. Yay. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's one of those things you just never know until the last minute if it's going to work or not. So thanks for being persistent.
You're glad we got. I had it on my laptop because I thought that'd be easier, and now
Yeah.
it's like no, my friend's like right, quick, trying to do everything.
Well, thank you for joining. So, everyone, let me just start from the beginning. It is Thursday, February 3rd. I can't believe we finally made it through January. Sophie Wood is here to join us, and I am very excited about it because Sophie brings a very different perspective. Normally, we have dealers or designers on, and as a show director, it's a totally different perspective and something that I'm really interested in because I'm doing a show for the first time since the before days. So. So without further ado, it's Sophie Wood, and she is the director of the Chelsea Antiques and Fine Art Fair, which is a fabulous, fabulous fair.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here. I'm glad to be here to be able to talk to you about it all.
Yes, me too. So I thought we'd start with just you have such an interesting background, and so maybe just chatting a little bit about what your background is and how you sort of wound up being the director of the fair.
Absolutely. So I've worked in events now for over, oh, I hate to admit it, but 20 years now. And I've done all sorts, but I started my career in the antiques world with the Olympia Art and Antiques Fair back in
Ah.
2007 and doing their summer and winter ones there. From there, my career has sort of taken me around the world and back again. I'm very, very privileged to say. And it's just recently, sort of a few years ago, when I came back to the UK, I was asked to work alongside the Lapada Fair for a couple of years. And then obviously COVID sort of came in and made changes to everybody's plans. And as a result, I was then asked by one of the exhibitors from the Lapada days to join to cover, who had recently just bought the Chelsea Antiques Fair. So I joined with them just under a year ago, and we obviously did our first fair under the new sort of ownership in September, which, as you can imagine, doing a sort of what was for us a bit of a launch fair,
Right.
global pandemic was a little bit daunting, but it proved a huge success, and now we're looking to host two more this year with our forthcoming one very soon next month. Oh, next month I can say now. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. I know, just that realization now. So that's where my sort of career has sort of come from and where it's taken me to.
Yeah, that it is quite, and I would love to see you the next time I'm in London because I do want to hear more and more about your background because I've heard that it's just absolutely fascinating. But we are on limited time today, so I was hoping that you could. I know now you just said that it's under new ownership with To Covet, and I would just kind of love to hear about the history because it's one of the oldest fairs I think in the UK.
It's actually been running for 70 years now.
Wow.
It started in, back in 1951, where because of Chelsea Old Town Hall, it has a public library within the actual venue. The librarian then at the time was tasked with, we've got to put on an antiques fair because, in 1951, antiques were fashionable and we're in the King's Road. This is what we should be doing. So thank goodness she did, and that's where it all started from. She did it for 1 year, Mrs. Schultz, and then it got passed on. It was realized this is a business entity in itself, so was bought out then, and then it's been running ever since. In 1960 it started going to twice a year. It was clearly there was the need for it, so it went from just an autumn fair to a spring fair, and it's just continued to be in the same venue running it's obviously evolved with time and changes that we've all seen take place. But no, still running today. And we were very fortunate we got to celebrate its 70th anniversary last September, which was lovely coming out of a lockdown and not too many things to celebrate, that we really
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
the sort of the year off with a great celebration.
It is. And I mean, it was a triumphant return, after having those breaks with COVID and the launch once you all took over. So it just sounded like it was such a fantastic fair to be at. And I'm so pleased to hear that, it was so successful that you guys now have the March show too.
Absolutely. It's gone full circle, whereas it started off as once a year, then sort of came into this twice a year event, and it's dropped it over the years, picked it up again. So we're sort of back where it started again, with 2 a year again now. So yeah, excited to be doing it.
Yeah, I wish I could come. I have a conflict for myself. Down in Texas, there's the Round Top Antique Show, which is very different. But yeah, I just would love to come at some point and see. I'm hoping to make it over for the September show, because I don't think there's a conflict then. So, but I've just heard such wonderful things about it. So because I can't make it, I'm hoping that you can kind of tell me sort of what are the opportunities to buy there, since, I won't be able to be on site, but I'm still very interested in seeing what's there. What can we do?
I think we're very conscious that, as much as everybody would love to travel, some travel or conflict of calendars. So what we're trying to do is to try and create this entity where it's more of a 365-day shopping experience, really. Mm-hmm. We're very lucky that under the ownership of To Cover, we've got our own marketplace where people can purchase from as well. But we're also then looking to do, we're going to be working with the lovely Gail McLeod, who's a great friend of the fair, but also the owner of Antiques, Fairs and News and Fairs, who will be offering international antique dealers the trade opportunity to buy virtually. So she'll be running all of those. She's got 25 years experience as a buyer. So, wow, she knows her stuff, no doubt about it. So she'll be offering for people who are unable to attend. And in addition to that, we're offering some sort of tours as well, because I sometimes feel like people have this passion and desire for antiques, but feel like, oh, but I don't know enough, or I'm not sure, and what have you. And I think we want to take that all away. It's more of a case of, if you have a passion, we want you through the door. That's what you don't need to know everything, because that's why we've got all of our dealers. They know more than enough, and they're willing, the desire to share that knowledge with you is clearly there. So just have that passion, come in, and we'll help you buy for sure. We've got all the means to do that for you. We just need your attendance. That's all we ask.
Yeah. So my background is how I got into antiques. I went on a tour through the Antiques Diva with Gail, and I did not know if I would buy anything at all. I just thought it would be something interesting to do while I was in London. I had done my semester abroad there, so I wanted to do something a little different, and literally didn't know if I was going to buy anything. And by the end of one day, I booked a one-day tour, I had filled a 20-foot container. And part of that was because of the knowledge of the dealers that I met and the passion over there. There is such a sense of collaboration, and really people just live and breathe this industry, and I just wanted to be a part of it.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that the fair is actually on for 6 days, because I need to talk to every single dealer, and I want to talk to them about all the pieces that I love on their stand, and
yeah,
a week in order to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. So the spring show, you said it's coming up next month. So just remind everyone what the dates are so they can put that on their calendar.
The 22nd to the 27th of March. We'll be having our collector's preview on the 22nd, and then to the public from the 23rd right through to Sunday the 27th.
Okay, and can people buy tickets ahead? Are they complimentary or?
All complimentary. So please go to the website, chelseaantiquesfair.co.uk, and you can get your complimentary tickets there. You can also see all the exhibitors that we've got signed up, and have a look at some of the stock and pieces that they're bringing. They are a little, what I love about them is that we've got all this stock that you can see and shop straight away, but they really do. I'm so honored that they take such pride in designing their stands. That a lot of their stock they will hold back for March as well. So a lot of it will not have been showcased anywhere else. So we're so very fortunate that they do that. You know, we create a backdrop, but they do all the hard work, that's for sure.
Yes, I'm so looking forward to coming in September and seeing it because just the architecture of the venue itself is, you know,
Oh,
it's the perfect environment for this.
it's an iconic building, and we're so
Yeah.
fortunate well. So it's at its true glory at the moment. It's absolutely stunning.
Definitely. So just for people again like me who can't make it, is the best way to do this to reach out to Gail directly to kind of book a tour or?
She's managing all of that herself. She has quite a big following. So you just need to email her at mail@antiquesnewsandfair.co.uk, and she will be able to set you up with all of your shopping needs, that's for sure.
Okay. I'll make sure to tag her when I post this video as well, just so everybody can reach her very easily. But I don't know if I've actually booked an appointment yet, but I definitely will be because I'm dying to
Yeah.
see. So I love garden antiques and I love Swedish. So what can people find at the fair and how many dealers are there?
Very fortunate. We've got approximately about 35 dealers, and I think that's the beauty is that we cover all of the disciplines as well. So we've got, you know, from furniture, we've got jewelry, we've got glass, we've got silver, you know, we've got Asian. We cover the whole spectrum, which is lovely. So there's always something for everybody in
Yeah.
there. So yeah, but and it's quite lovely because it's still quite unique and boutique in that it's only sort of 35 dealers, but because it's segregated over different little halls, it doesn't feel that huge when you feel like there's just always more to come over through the next doorway, which is lovely.
That is fun. And it does give you still that sense of the thrill of the hunt, you know, which is what we all love so much. Yeah. Keeps drawing us in further and further. Um, I was trying to think of just sort of when you took it over, I know it was the 70th anniversary. What kind of changes did you guys implement, for the 70th anniversary for, from the former owner and also dealing with the sort of restrictions with the pandemic?
Yeah, I think always from the very beginning, we've never really wanted to change too much about it. That's what
Right.
we to keep that at the heart of it all, that it is the Chelsea Antiques Fair that's always been held in Chelsea, in the Chelsea Old Town Hall. And we wanted to keep that very much at the root of it all. It was just that we wanted to sort of elevate it to reflect its surroundings. It is in a really recently refurbished venue, absolutely stunning. So I think we just wanted to elevate it to the position that it deserves, so to speak. So we had very good high quality dealers, and that's what makes it. And I think we wanted to enhance that whole visitor but exhibitor experience as well. There's something quite fun coming to the King's Road. It's been iconic for so many years in itself. It's been the heartbeat of fashion and culture and art and music. So just really paying homage to that area. And keep it at the essence of what it is. And that's why I think it survived the length of time that it has, because it's remained exactly what it is. And it's sort of set itself within, the social calendar in the industry as well. So just carrying that on, but always elevating it and evolving it, as we must do with everything, to ensure that we're just sort of incorporating everything. And then obviously in September, we had to incorporate some of the restrictions with COVID, and how do you still create a safe environment for everybody, but it still had to be a buying environment as well. It's an experience. So I think we tried to do it subtly. I think was that we wanted to create that ambience and feel that you have when you're in an antiques fair, which is something quite unique, but still making people feel safe while they were in there. So we did it probably in a more subtle way than some of the visitors may have realized, but obviously we had a one-way system in place if it was required, looking at the capacities, looking at the ventilation in the room. But we were sort of always, I think the beauty about art and antiques fair is that they're always designed with sort of larger aisles as well. So
Right.
we've already had this perfect sort of layout designed in case anything like this happens. So we didn't have to sort of reinvent the wheel. We had there waiting to do it. So, and we were very concerned about capacities as well. You know, it's really difficult because as a fair organizer, I want numbers through the door, people buying and creating that atmosphere. And for once, I had to go, oh, slow down. It's more about making people feel safe and they can buy in that environment. So, it was finding that balance between the two. But
Yes. And it sounds like that was well achieved because you were, there was enough of this kind of pent up demand that you guys decided to launch the show in March as well.
and I think that's clearly it. I think after 2 years, we all had to sort of change our buying premises where we went very much online, and I think that worked.
Right.
And I think what we're doing now is that there clearly is a desire for that face-to-face interaction. I mean, we're talking about craftsmanship and the beauty of it and the provenance of it and everything. We're tactile people.
Yeah.
We want to be that close to them. So I think now we've got that great balance that we've got the online, but there is clearly still that interaction and face-to-face buying is still there. There's still the need for it. And that's why we felt we could go back to being 2 fairs a year. So very excited.
It is exciting, and I'm really looking forward to the fair that I'm doing in March. And there is not really a replacement for actually being able to see and physically kind of touch the piece. And there's a little bit lost in the video, a little lost in translation. When you're looking at pieces and exploring, it took me a little time because I still needed to buy inventory. I still needed to source. And fortunately, I was working with Gail, who knows my inventory, knows what my expectations are, what works for me so well. And she's so good at figuring that out quickly. But it still took a little time for me kind of managing buying online, right? Buying virtually. And I'm glad that we now have the option to do both, right? To be able to buy there in person. I was there in, I think, November. Yeah, just before Thanksgiving here. And then now to be able to continue to kind of buy as needed and, fill the container just as I go as time goes on. So it is, I think you're right, the best of both worlds at this point.
I think the lovely thing about the fairs as well is that fear of missing out as well, that you're there and doing something and you're like, oh, I'll go and have a think about it. And they walk away and they see somebody else come in and look at it. And you can see them go, I shouldn't have walked away. I should have gone back. So it builds that anticipation of that real, God, I used to hate this expression, but the fear of missing out of, if I it's now, I may not get it. So it does create, and you can feel that sort of tension in the room as well, which is always great.
Yes. And there was somebody who made these t-shirts that made me laugh that said, is that your best price? And then on the back of it, it said, I'll be back. So it's universal. No matter where in the world you are, it's the same conversation every dealer is having.
Completely. Yeah.
Yeah, it made me laugh. That was a few years ago when I saw that, and we instantly bought those shirts. I mean, it was a hit mostly among other dealers, but like, it's just so funny. Yes, it's a wonderful experience. So what kind of advice do you have? And obviously it's a different marketplace in the States, but for people who, are kind of just thinking about getting into doing fairs, what sort of advice do you have for people about that, for other, for dealers like me?
I think to get involved in fairs, I think, we've seen so many of our dealers now that literally I don't know how they do it. Their calendars are back to back. They leave one fair and they're straight into the next.
Yeah.
Going for it. And I think one piece of advice I'd say is don't just judge one fair on one experience. I think you've got to find your momentum with them. I think you have to get to understand the location, the audience, everything about it. And I think and design your stand accordingly. I think that's where we've seen people do so successfully, is bringing the right pieces and knowing what that kind of audience, knowing who their clients that they've invited are coming and would want certain things. So I think it's just taking the time and don't just treat them as, once you've done one fair, you've done them all, then you can just, copy and paste. You really can't.
No.
It's of really getting to know the location, the culture, everything about it, and tailor make it and design it specifically for that particular fair. And I think that's when you'll get the best return of it as well.
Yeah, I agree. That's my sort of rule, is try everything 3 times and 2 out of 3 is the answer. I had done a show in New York, and it's one of those beginner's luck maybe things where I sold out, like my stand was empty. But that's because I'm from New York, and I know, tickets. I knew buyers, like people were coming by, and I knew what people would be interested in. And then I ended up going to Round Top, Texas, and it's a totally different beast altogether. You know, not just the buyers and the environment down there, but just the way that things work and are set up. It's just, you know, start to finish, it was a totally different experience. And, you know, obviously I'm returning, so I completely love it down there. It's the best. But you're totally right when you say you can't copy and paste. It's not formulaic at all.
No. If there was a rule book, we'd all have it. But unfortunately, we've appreciated with antiques and the whole industry, there is no rule book at all. And I think it's playing to your own strengths and not worrying what everybody else is doing. Is doing what you can do and doing it to the best of your own abilities. And working with the organisers as well. If they're providing the marketing material, and we want to shout out about dealers like no one's business, it's in our interest too. So share the piece. Share the uniqueness of something and tell us the story, and we'll broadcast it for you. So utilize the avenues that you have available to you and max them out completely.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just, there is that energy about it when you go to these fairs. You know, it's hard to replicate that anywhere else. So it's lots and lots of fun. So is there anything else you kind of wanted to share about this upcoming show, or about future shows, or any kind of information people need to know?
No, I mean, I think we've obviously got the website and we've got the free invitation, so please take full advantage of that. We'd love to get you on our mailings, and we'll make sure you get invitations for all future fairs and what have you. And we've also got our Instagram. We're doing lots of broadcasts and podcasts like this as well, so feel free to follow us, and we'll keep you up to date on all of the news of anything new and exciting happening at the fair itself. We've obviously got our Instagram, which is at Chelsea Antiques Fine Art Fair. So yeah, and keep following us. And if you've got questions or things, we're always available, myself and the team. If you've got questions or queries, let us know, and we'll try and help and advise you in any way we can.
Yes, absolutely. And I will be sending my wish list over to Gail. So everybody knows that, you know, they can reach out to her if they're looking for anything in particular, or if they want to set up a virtual tour. So I'm very excited. I can't wait to see photos and see what's going on there. And congratulations on 70 years at the fair. It's amazing.
It is an honor, isn't it? It's something that I don't normally sort of shout things out, but I think that one is one that we're very proud of. And I think, let's continue that moving forward as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I wish you and all your dealers the best of luck. And I'm going to post this and tag the Chelsea Fine Art Fair, and just make sure everybody knows that they should be following along, because you guys do post regularly and really wonderful inventory. So everybody should know.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And yeah, please, we'd love to see you all at the fair.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining, Sophie.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.